Starting and running a business is hard, but you don't have to do it alone. Whether you're an established business owner or thinking about starting a side hustle to earn extra income, I am here to teach you how to show up as your unfiltered self, level up your business, and thrive as a mompreneur. Let's embrace the chaos and start enjoying the journey together. I'm Amy Traw, and you're listening to the Motivated Mompreneur podcast. Welcome back into the Motivated Mompreneur podcast. Today, I am chatting with Hally all about so many of the feelings that we can feel as moms, as business owners, anxiety, stress, fatigue, and what we can do to really gain control over that again, because it is possible. We don't have to constantly be tired and worn down and stressed out. So let's dive into this episode. I am so excited. And with that being said, Hally, welcome to the podcast.
Amy, thank you so much for having me. It's an honor to be here.
Aw, thank you so much. So before we dive in, tell us more about yourself, who you are and what you do.
Yeah. So my name is Hally Brooke. I'm a nationally board certified functional medicine health coach and nutritional counselor. And that's my business. So I started that business in 2016 and I've grown it to a nationwide company that I have a team of 7, super cool. And what has happened in the course of that is I have had a lot of entrepreneurs come to me who have these health issues, except that as entrepreneurs, we aren't just wearing the mom hat and the wife hat and the friend hat and the partner hat and the sister hat and the daughter hat. We are also running a business. And so all of the things that go into making life stressful for a normal person are amplified when we're an entrepreneur. And so from that business, out of it has kind of grown the nourished entrepreneur, which is, okay, we're humans and we have these issues, but we're also business owners. And so how do we run a business that is designed around our lives instead of, running our lives around our business? And how do we live well? How do we live nourished while we're running a business, which is a lot to do.
It truly is. And I am such a huge advocate of running a business around your life, because most of us get into entrepreneurship to have the freedom, to have the flexibility. And so many times, especially when you're first starting out and you're wearing all of those hats like you described, it's easy to let all of those tasks take priority and then push our health to the back burner. But that leads to so many issues. So what advice do you have for that entrepreneur that's like, okay, yeah, you're talking about me. Where does someone even start to relinquish this control?
Yeah. So I would say there's 3 things. The first one is perspective. The second one is priorities. And the third one is actual productivity. Being busy is not being productive. I'm going to read you a quote. So where I would start with people is I would start with perspective, especially when you are new to business and you are starting a business and you are wearing all the hats. If you can get your brain wrapped around this perspective from the beginning, it will shape absolutely everything you do. So this is a quote from a study done in Forbes magazine 2 years ago. So 2020, right before the pandemic happened. They did a 5-year comprehensive study studying leaders and CEOs on a wellness profile. And this is what they found. In summary, leaders who scored in the bottom 50% of the wellness profile lost money. Healthy leaders made profit, and leaders who ranked in the top 10% of the well-being profile more than doubled the company's profit in a 2-year period in comparison to the other 90%. That's huge. And so especially as new entrepreneurs and women and moms and all of these things, if we can get our brains wrapped around your walk, your workout, and your meal prep time is actually going to be a profitable outcome for your business. Pushing those things to the side is going to damage your body in the long term, but it's actually going to damage your business in the long term. And if we can get our brains wrapped around that priority and start to make decisions in that direction, we have a chance.
Yes. And that's just such an eye-opening statistic, that study that you just read. I mean, and really, as business owners, we should be looking towards the clues that others that are ahead of us have left for us. They're showing us the way. They're proof that it's possible, yes. But then let's learn, okay, what habits do these high performers have? What are they doing in their daily lives? And I know as moms, it is so easy to put things to the back burner, something like meal prep. Yes, it takes a little bit of effort up front, but it makes your life throughout the week so much easier because now you don't have the decision fatigue. You're already making 50,000 decisions a day as a business owner, as a parent, as a mom.
Amen.
Like, and then to throw in, well, what am I going to make for dinner? What am I going to make for lunches? Okay, you do a little bit of like legwork at the beginning of the week with meal prep. It makes life easier.
Yeah, it makes life easier. And ironically, also makes your business more profitable, which who
Yes.
doesn't want that? Yeah.
Exactly, exactly. And then what were the two others? That was it walk and work out were involved in those?
Yeah. So, I mean, I'm coming up with things that I
Yeah,
love
no,
and that
I
I
love
coach my
that.
clients for, but it's really, we talk about baselines. What are your baselines for a nourished body, for nourished nutrition, for nourished movement, and for nourished spirit? If your baseline for a nourished movement is a walk, then you need to prioritize that walk. If your baseline for nourished nutrition is to have a balanced breakfast, then you need to prioritize that. If your baseline for having a nourished spirit is, you know, 15 minutes of quiet time in the morning, then you need to prioritize that. And nothing is allowed to touch that. But as entrepreneurs, we let everything touch that. Our one-to-ones and our business networking and our funnel building and all of these things take priority, and we will put everything else in those slots that need to be ours. And the truth is, the things that are actually our baseline need to be our number one non-negotiables, not
Oh,
everything
yes.
else.
That is so important to keep in mind because you're right. We will fill that time with
Oh
other
yeah.
things. So for me, I physically have to schedule things like that in there. I have to block out a lunch in my schedule or else I'll just keep working. I will find
Same.
something to do. Even my morning workout at 6 a.m. is on the schedule. Even though there's literally nothing else that needs done at that time, it's on my schedule because if we're not prioritizing it, we're going to fill that time with other just arduous tasks that usually don't even move the needle forward in our business. But once we're prioritizing those
Correct.
really important things like you've just described, boom, that creates more profit. I love
Correct.
it. Oh my
Yeah.
gosh, so good. So we talked about perspective. The next one's priorities. Let's dig into that a little
Yes.
bit.
And you just You just segued into that so beautifully, because what you said is, if it's not on my calendar, I will find something to fill that time. So priorities, one of the things that I have my clients ask themselves 3 times a day, they set an alarm in their phone and they have to ask themselves this question 3 times a day. Am I being productive or am I just being busy? And the number of times that we're actually, if we get really honest with ourselves, I'm just being busy is enormous. Like, can I fill that workout time with work? I absolutely can. Does it actually need to get done? Probably not. If we look at things, I coach my clients to check their voicemail once a week, to check their email once a day, 4 days a week only, because just that, like I have clients who are spending 2.5 hours a day on email. Like nothing is getting accomplished from that. Nothing is moving the needle forward. And so figuring out the priorities in your business, and priorities change season to season and quarter to quarter. Your priorities for season 1 might be sales. Your priorities for season 2 might be developing strategic partnerships. Your priority for season 3 might be building out your marketing. But one, you cannot do all of those things at the same time. It's not going to work. And two, checking your email probably doesn't fit into those priorities. And what you need to be looking for in your email is things that fit into that priority. And if it doesn't fit into that priority, you ignore it, you delete it, or you unsubscribe from it.
Oh, mic drop moment. I mean, it's like what you said, though, those are such valuable takeaways. Even something as simple as just setting an alarm to ask yourself that question.
Yeah.
That took me such a long time to realize, probably far too long in
Man,
business, was
sister, me too.
right. I mean, and we've all been there. So if you are listening to this, if you take nothing else away from this episode, start implementing that in your business. And this one task alone will collapse time for you because we do fill our days with just being busy. How many times a day do we have the email open in the background? We hear that little notification go off. We stop what we're doing. We go into it. I mean, studies have shown how long then it takes us to get back to the task at hand. So why are we letting these little dings and notifications dictate our day when we have priorities that actually matter?
Yeah, amen. I think those studies actually show that every time we get distracted, every time we try to multitask, we lose 10 minutes.
Yeah.
So, say I'm trying to work on a project and I get distracted by the text messages on my phone 3 times, just 3. And reality is, let's be honest, it's actually probably more like 15 times a day. But we do that 3 times a day, that's 30 minutes. Can you do a
Yeah.
workout in 30 minutes? Yeah. If you'd actually stayed focused, you just bought 30 minutes back in your week. And that's if you only get distracted 3 times a day, which most of us are like, how many texts do we get in a day? 25. So 25 times 30, you're losing 2,500 minutes a day or 250 minutes. Like,
It
let's get
adds
some
up.
time back. It adds up. You do that for a week, you've lost an entire day a week, every single week.
Right.
No
And
wonder
how,
you can't take care of yourself.
right. Exactly. And how often do we tell ourselves, I just don't have the time? Okay, we're making a choice. Everything in life that we do is a choice. And that's a harsh reality to face that,
Yes.
oh, I just don't have the time. Okay, well, you're choosing not to. Because if you're spending all of that time checking social media, scrolling for inspiration, quote unquote, checking your
Yes.
email, doing all of those mundane things, you're right. You are losing hours
Hours.
upon hours. I mean, 10 minutes doesn't seem like a lot here and there, but there's a lot of things you can do to actually move the needle forward in your business. Prioritize your health in those small nuggets of time
Yep.
is so, so important as busy women, as business owners. And then
Yes.
our last P was
So perspective, priorities, and then productivity.
yes. Let's
So
dive into that.
we sort of just talked about both priorities and productivity at the same time. But priorities are, if this is a priority that you're focusing on in your business, it is the only thing that you are focusing on. And then productivity is what we were just talking about. Like, if you're switching back and forth between tasks, you are losing productivity. If you are trying to prioritize 5 projects at the same time, it's impossible. If you look at really successful businesses, like look at Elon Musk does one thing at a time at a very intense focus. He's not doing 25 things at a time. And now he has a company that they're sending people to the moon. Like, they're doing all of the things, but it's because they did one thing at a time. And so you have to get your brain around the perspective that you taking care of yourself makes your business profitable. You have to figure out what your personal priorities are and what your work priorities are and get crystal clear on what those are. And then you have to figure out how to actually be productive, asking yourself that question, am I being productive or am I just being busy? Turning off your notifications, I teach my clients to create both focus blocks and breakout blocks. So a focus block is a 3 to 4 hour chunk of your day where nothing else is happening. You are working on that one project and moving the needle forward. All of your tabs are closed. Your phone is in a different room and you are focused. And then a breakout block is actually a 2 to 3 hour block in the week where you go do something completely unrelated to work. You go ride your bike, you go on a hike, you go for a walk, you take a nap, you watch a movie, like you do something to decompress your brain. And then the magic of when you come back to work, the next 45 minutes after a breakout block are some of the most productive times that you're going to get in a week. And so people think I'm crazy when I'm talking about productivity and I say, I want you to go do something non-productive for 2 hours. They're like, what? I can't do that. That's not going to fit in my schedule. Are you crazy? And I said, I just want you to try it. Like, give me a 1-week experiment. And they do it and they come back and they're like, the 2 hours after that breakout block, I got half of my week's to-do list done. Yep. You're welcome.
Yeah.
What would you have done otherwise? You would have dinked around and it would have taken you 4 hours to get the same amount of done that you did in 2 hours.
Oh, that is so true. I love that idea. And it makes sense, though. You think about it, our brains can only handle so much at any given time. And I mean, right now we're living in such an abundance of information. So, I mean, no matter where we're at, I mean, we're consuming so much. So, yes, you need to be able to completely switch tasks, switch out of that work mode, and just give yourself space to breathe. I think in this
Yes.
world, we forget to do that. We're always like, okay, it's quiet. I need to consume. So we just start
Yes.
scrolling. We forget to move, to walk, to do the little things that will keep us healthy, that will extend our lives, that will extend the quality of life. And that helps the fatigue level, the stress level, the anxiety, all of the
All of
things
it.
that we face. I mean,
Yeah.
even just, getting some fresh air. I know when I start to feel anxious and overwhelmed, I'll just walk outside and just walk
Yes.
for a couple minutes just to decompress because it's a lot. It's
It's a
a
lot.
lot being an entrepreneur.
Yeah. You just brought up something really good too, that when we are stressed and we don't know what to do, we just consume information.
Yes.
Yes, it's terrible. I mean, I'm guilty of this. I have been guilty of this in my past. It's late at night and I'm feeling frustrated in my business. And so I'm scrolling Instagram and I go sign up for 4 online courses that like in the morning, the result of that is I just have to unsubscribe from annoying things that I don't actually have time to go watch anyway. So one of the things that I do with my clients when they first start working with me is we put them on a low information diet. And so we say for the first 4 weeks that you're working with me, like just 4 weeks, you are not allowed to sign up for any other freebies. You are allowed to read one professional development book. One, you can read it or you can listen to it. And it's going to be something that we agree on together that is designed specifically for our coaching. You may not listen to news except for 15 minutes a week. So, don't stick your head in the sand, but figure out how to get your information in 15 minutes a week and set a timer for that. And you're allowed to read one fiction book at night before bed. And that is it. You may not have any other inputs because what that input does is it actually distracts us and it makes us less productive. And so we feel like we're doing something. It's because we're consuming all this information, but we don't have the time or the space or the ability to use it. And so it's actually taking away from what we need. So yeah, the low information diet.
Oh,
Fantastic.
yes, yes. But it makes, again, just so much sense because when you are constantly consuming, you lose that clarity. Things start to get so muffled and jumbled in your
Yes.
brains. And here's the thing, any one of these tactics, I mean, you go online, you can find thousands of different tactics as to how to accomplish X, Y, or Z. The problem is we're so overloaded that we don't actually implement anything we've learned. So I love that because
Right.
it really, I can see how that would calm your mind and just really allow you to dial in and focus on what looks good, what feels good to you, to
Yeah.
run your business the way you want to run it. And I think we
Yes.
forget that we have that control when we are,
Yes.
because it's like, oh, I need to be more like her. Oh, she's doing that, so I must need to do that. Oh, everybody's hopping on TikTok, I need to hop on TikTok. And then we just end up so overwhelmed and paralyzed by all of it.
Yes. And it leads us away from our mission. Most
Yes.
moms, most women, I think this is a very women thing, who start a business, we are a mission driven business. Like your podcast, Mission Driven Women, we started our business because we have something that we believe the world needs, whether it's a product or a service. And when we get bogged down in this information soup, we lose who we are and we try to become like everybody else. And so these women who I work with who are coming to me like, I just don't know what to do, I'm so overwhelmed. I go, well, you're trying to be everyone else. Why did you actually start your business? What are your mission? What are your values? What is your vision? That is all I care about. I don't care about your strategies. I don't care about what you've tried. I don't care about what you want to do. I care about that. And then we're going to build the strategy and build the structure around your mission, not around what everyone else's mission. I think that's so important. I'm so glad you brought that up.
It is, and it's a beautiful thing. Having that clarity is the key to thriving. That right there is the key to building a business around your life. When you are so crystal clear on what you want your life to look like, it's easier. It's less
Yep.
heavy. It takes that weight, that invisible load off of our shoulders, and really, like you said, gets us back into why we started these businesses to begin with. And for
Yes.
me, I actually have those written down. And when I'm having a bad day, I go back to that. I'm like,
Mm-hmm.
okay, are my actions that I'm doing aligned with that? Because there are times when it's like, oh no, I'm way off track. And that's okay.
Yep.
Just having the grace to be like, all right, hey, I identified it. I can rein it back in. Maybe I need to delegate something. Maybe I need to outsource something. It's okay. That's the beauty of business. We can shape it how we want it to look.
Yep.
That right
Yeah.
there is a game changer.
Game changer. And you talked about grace, which I think is so accurate. If two people are walking down the road and it's the wrong road, the one who's the furthest ahead is the one who turns back around and goes backwards first. And I think sometimes we don't think about that. We think about pushing forward, moving forward, going forward, driving this thing forward. And we don't take that time to pause. And like you said, go back to our mission and go, hold on. I'm on I-25 going east. I actually need to be on I-25 going west. Like the faster I turn around, the faster I'm going in the right direction. And so often we just get so focused on moving forward that we move forward at 80 miles an hour and don't even realize that we're now 400 miles off course in the wrong direction. And now we have to like reverse all of that to get back to where we need to be.
Oh, that's a beautiful analogy, but it makes so much sense. And we forget to do that. We get into such this tunnel vision of it has to look a certain way that no, it's okay to identify that and change it around so it works for you.
Yes.
Hally, this was such an incredible conversation. So many nuggets of value and just actionable steps that start implementing these things today, and you will see changes in your business. I'm going to go on a low information diet. I think that's a fabulous idea. So I am giving you all the credit. So thank you so much for taking time out of your busy schedule to share with our community. How can we learn more about you?
Yes. So our website, www.livenourishcoaching, LIVENOURISHED coaching.com. On that website, you can find both information about our health coaching and our functional medicine coaching. And you can click the work with us, go to drop down Nourished Entrepreneur, and you can connect directly with me. So on that website, you can book a free consult for your health, or you can book a free consult for your business. And I would love to talk to you. Even if what you walk away from is one nugget, that's my goal. So come book a free consult, check us out, and we would love to connect.
Absolutely incredible. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Amy.
Yes, definitely. And until next time, stop dreaming and start taking messy action. You've got this. Are you loving what you're hearing? Do us a favor and hit that subscribe button so you don't miss an episode.